Folks, we're showing signs of a buyer's market here in Lakewood Ranch in 2024. Hey everyone, Michael Chenkus here. My wife Courtney and I are real estate specialists in the Lakewood Ranch, Florida market area. Each month I review our local market data to get a good picture of the trends in the real estate market and where things are headed, how they're doing, and somewhat of a forecast for the future. And this update, which covers the month of January 2024 and how our market did, is insanely significant, to say the least, because it's the first time in a long time that we've seen trends pointing and leaning towards a buyer's market. I promise this is actually good news. The market's not tanking. So let's take a look at the numbers together and see what's happening as of January 2024 here in Lakewood Ranch. And before I get going, in the video description below, there's going to be a link where you can download a copy of this report if you'd like to follow along or just revisit this information in the future. Queuing up some cool music right here, and let's check out how our market did in January 2024 in the 3 Lakewood Ranch zip codes, which are 34202, 34211, and 34240. Let's start and just look at top level statistics, okay? So the total number of sales this January was up 39%. And the average sales price was up 2.2%. The median sales price up 4%. And you're thinking, wait a minute, you said it was a buyer's market and those stats don't really sound like a buyer's market. And I get it, but stick with me because there are some other key data points that tell a different story. Let's shift our focus to 3 different metrics. We're going to look at days on market, the sale price versus the list price, and also absorption rate, which is another fancy way to measure the inventory. Those 3 things are going to be really key in this analysis. I'm seeing days on market trending upwards. This average days to contract table that I put together shows the price reduced homes on the left side, the non-price reduced homes on the right. And these are all homes that sold. And what you can see is anything that's highlighted in yellow means it took longer to sell. In December, the price reduced homes took 91% longer to sell. In January, 32%. The last time it wasn't up was October. So set aside the numbers, look at the color. Anything in the yellow, that means it's been taking longer to sell. And we've had 3 straight months of increased days on market. Here's the next stat that jumped off the page at me, and that's the close price versus original price. In this chart, where I want to focus the attention is January of this year. You can see that -4%, which is highlighted in yellow. This year, 94%, last January was 98%. So 94% of the original list price is where these homes settled at. It's pretty significant. And here's a real world example. We'll use $800,000 list price. 98% of 800,000, which would have been last January statistics, means you would settle at $784,000 for that home. This year in January, you're settling at 94%. That's $752,000. That's a $32,000 swing. 4% equates to real money and real dollars in the buyer's pocket. They're getting better deals. I can't stress enough that this stuff is actually great news, and that's why I said that at the top of this video. The market isn't tanking. Houses are selling, but some of the statistics and some of the motion and flow and just kind of what's happening in the market is changing. So once I came up with these 2 stats and checked them out, I thought, all right, I have 2 indicators. I need a 3rd one. And if I could find 3 indicators that showed that the market is somewhat shifting towards a buyer's market, this video would actually make sense. So a while back, I did a video about absorption rate. And that's just a fancy word for measuring inventory and how the supply meets the demand of the market. That is probably the most important indicator of everything because that's going to drive what happens with the market, whether people are buying, whether they're not, whether they're getting deals. In other words, the absorption rate is huge. And here's how it works. You count up the total homes sold over a very specific period of time, divide by the total number of active/pending homes that are on the market currently. If that number lands between 0 and 15%, it's considered a buyer's market. If it lands between 15 and 20%, that's considered a neutral market, not either way, not buyer, not seller. And then if it lands 20% or higher than that, that is a seller's market. And for many years now, we've been in a strong seller's market. Okay, I hope that video was helpful. And if you have any questions about I'm just kidding, I can't leave you hanging on that one. The absorption rate is super important, so let's get into it. In the previous months doing these market analysis videos, unfortunately, and shame on me, I wasn't tracking the absorption rate. The February data of active listings is the first one. I'm going to continue to do this moving forward. Active listings, as you see on this chart, currently as of the middle of February, resale only, excluding the new construction stuff, is right around 750 amongst the 3 zip codes. And if you take into account the sales pace that we had in January, which there were 89 homes sold, so that's the monthly pace of the previous month, that'll give us an absorption rate of 12%. That's landing in buyer's market territory. Let's see what it looks like if we take the sales pace over the last 4 months. That gives us 15%. So basically, there's 2 things that can happen here. If we maintain the current sales pace that we saw in January and inventory stays where it's at, we are in a buyer's market. If inventory increases and the pace stays where it is, we're definitely in a buyer's market. So you can see how these things are shifting, and it's going to be really important to track this moving forward. Like I said, I will do that. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and watch these videos on a monthly basis if you're curious to see how that pans out. Now, these market analysis videos I do every month, they're a broad view of the analytics of the 3 zip codes. The only thing I do is remove the new construction data because it's not very complete and it's going to mess up all the numbers. Had I focused on a particular neighborhood, or if I focused on only one zip code versus another, or even squeeze that into a particular price point for the analysis, that could change things. So again, this is a broad stroke, but it is very telling. And it gives you a general overview of how the Lakewood Ranch area is doing in terms of its real estate pace. So with that being said, if you are considering a specific neighborhood or you're curious to know what the stats are for a particular area or village, let us know and we can happily pull that information and get that over to you. But here's the takeaway of this entire video. If you didn't understand any of that, the most important point I can make is that we are seeing a shift in the market, but it is not a shift that is considered a crash. The market isn't tanking. The market is still selling because volume is way up, almost 39%, 40% up compared to last year. But we're seeing price trends and inventory trends moving towards what is either a balanced market or a buyer's market, to be determined. But January was the first month where we saw these numbers concretely pointing in that direction. Days on market is up, which means it's taking a little bit longer to sell. Price is down, or at least it looks like it's trending down. However, a little asterisk to this entire conversation, there are some neighborhoods that are still breaking price records. And that's for a whole different video. I have my 2 cents on that, and I promise we will make that video to explain what's going on in specific neighborhoods in these price records that are being broken. And just like you, we are very curious to see how this all shakes out as well. Now, if you love these videos and you want to watch the market trends and follow along with us, make sure to hit the subscribe button below, and you'll get notified every time we put out a brand new video about the Lakewood Ranch real estate market, neighborhood-specific videos, trends, new construction, great new restaurants in the area, and all things Lakewood Ranch. Definitely head over to our website because there's a lot of great resources there where you can learn all about the neighborhoods in the various villages of Lakewood Ranch. It's soldbychenkus.com. You can see it down here somewhere on the screen. We love helping people like you. So if you have any questions about Lakewood Ranch or your real estate goals, give us a call, a text, or an email. Again, I'm Michael Chenkus with Charles Ruttenberg Realty. And for my wife, Courtney, here in Lakewood Ranch, Florida, we truly appreciate you all. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Don't forget to come back for more video updates, and if you want to keep watching, click the More Videos button here for a playlist of all things Lakewood Ranch.